Monday, cocksuckers, and you better come prepared because they don't fuck around on Monday. Monday, most people come in, I had such a great weekend. Oh my God, go fuck yourself. That was then. This is now, bitch. It's a whole new set of rules. It's Monday. And you ain't waking up with the taste of blood in your fucking mouth like a shark 5 feet from the shore. You fucked up. You understand? Because Monday is when you go, everybody else is like, still the weekend, you fucking up.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Monday. It's that day of the week where some of you think that it is the absolute end of the world. You dread it. You can't stand coming into the start of the week on that day. However, for some of us, it's actually the start of an amazing way to correct all the errors that you made the week before. It's an opportunity to be even doper than what you were in the past. And more importantly, it's really just an opportunity to maybe make some adjustments, because week in, week out, day in and day out, moment to moment, that's what you're supposed to be doing, making adjustments so you can win your championship. And this is Monday. This is the day that myself and my partner in crime, T, you see him over there with the Knicks hat. You know he's the man that goes by the single name Talent, which not only describes who he is and what he does, but is actually the embodiment of who and everything about him. You can't beat that with a baseball bat. T, how are you, brother? How are you doing? We fresh off of Easter weekend for some. Some people are still doing Ramadan and things like that. How was your weekend?
Mine was dope. Why do people say Happy Easter? It's about somebody dying, right? Anyway, I wake up Happy Easter. I'm like, it's not, I mean, it's a nice day. Don't get me wrong. The weather's dope, but not really happy Jesus had to die. You know what I'm saying? So no, it was a great weekend. You stood me up Saturday. I told you it was off the chain, and it lived up to every bit. So my weekend started Thursday, really, because I had to do the autism event. Shout out to the Naissance Place. Was wonderful at the Galloping Hills golf course and country club out in Kenilworth, New Jersey. It was crazy. Great turnout. It did good numbers. The comedians, it was 8 of us. The quick marathon, hour and a half. Everybody done about 7 to 10 minutes, and 8 of us, and we went 8 for 8. Everybody was funny. The people loved it. So that was Thursday. Then Friday, I got a last minute call to go sub in for our good friend A.G. White out at a banquet hall in Queens. And not only was that a dope show, I mean, the people were very happy at the end of the show. So, happy people, you sell a lot of merch. So it was a beautiful merch night. We're very happy on the merch night. And then the next day, I had 2 shows at the grand opening, the Bumper the Bumpers new comedy club in West Orange, New Jersey. 2 sold out shows, 2 fucking ram-packed funny joints. I mean, the only thing, and they're working on it. The only thing they got to work on is staffing, because it's new to them. It's a new hotel. It's a new venture with the comedy club. So it's obviously going to be new to staff. So once they get the tweaks out with the staff and moving a little faster with the drinking food, that place is going to be the place to be. And then, of course, I ran out of gas that night. I ain't gonna front to you. I was on E. You know what it was? I think I was on E earlier and didn't look at the needle. So my body was like, whatever. But here's the thing. And here's the thing about Motivation Monday, why it's important. It showed me that when it's time, when we need to, we push and persevere and push through, right? So I'm out of gas that whole night. I'm walking around, whatever. I just can't wait to be over. I'm going home. I'm going to bed early. Everything. I got it all planned out. I get tapped. I'm at the bar, sitting at the bar in between comedians, get tapped, turn around. It's my cousins from Georgia.
Wow.
Surprised me. Like, they came up to New York to visit the fam and surprised me and bought like 2 table loads, like 15 of them or 16 of them. It was deep, bro. And I'm like, oh shit. It was like, so I'm trying to put it together in my head. Like, was y'all doing something out here? Like, nah, we got them joints. We knew it was coming. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yo, that's dope, right? Then, so now at the end of the show, because they came to the second show, I'm like, you know what? They're like, what are you doing up there? I said, well, you know me, I rush home, drink close to home. I said, you know what? I mean, they know where the place was. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And it was the funniest shit in the world, Amir, because the bar was literally closing. Like we called, like, yo, can we get one before y'all close? And she's like, all right, I'll wait till y'all get one. We was like 30 minutes away. So we get there, and it's just us three. Is it three of us? Four. It's Tina, Otis, me, and Rick. And we come through the door, they buzz us in. Everybody's like, oh, okay, you know, hook up with one. But right behind us is 20 more. But all I go is like this because I'm so tired. I just go, hey, can y'all open up, buzz my cousin and them in? And he's like, yeah, and my cousin Dean. So they know I'm there, heard the name. Oh, yeah, we'll buzz him in. This motherfucker came in with 20 more cousins. She looked at me, I looked at her, I said, that's my cousins. They Georgia. They're gonna be going in the day. I'm gonna be sleeping all day tomorrow, so I'm not gonna get to spend real time with them. So this is what it is, and that was dope. That made my whole week, probably my month. So that was a dope. And like I said, Sunday, other than a little clerical work I had to do in the middle of the day, I just conked out, bro, rested up, blah blah blah, and all was gravy. And you know what's funny about that is. It is an example because I mean when I tell you I push through on fumes because family to me is like top notch. That's the top of the totem. You know what I mean? Like some people put money at the top, some people put things at the top. With me, I've always been raised that way. Where family is that thing. So seeing them, believe it or not, emotionally, maybe not physically, but emotionally charged. And I walked away with a new spiritual and emotional charge because that was a pleasant surprise. Now, we need these things. Like you mentioned, when Amir came on and he shot your boy out, you see him over there with the Knicks hat. Now, we talk about things that motivate us. Shout out to my Knicks. Shout out to Jalen Brunson and the Brunson family. I texted him yesterday. I'm very proud of him and what he's doing, bringing the Knicks back and everything. We're in the playoffs. And with a very good shot of automatically getting to that second round. We playing somebody that we match up with well, you know, that we've beaten them all year. So I'm using sports like most guys do. This is our refuge for motivation a lot of the time. A lot of guys, men, it puts them in a good mood to see their teams and franchises do well or that they were right. You know what I mean? I told you. So that could be boxing, basketball, football, tennis, whatever you're into. And for me, it's my Knicks going to the playoffs. It's the moves my Jets are about to make. So sports-wise, I'm good money. And I'm going to tell you something. You need all of these things, not just sports, family, all of these things to stay motivated. Because I was telling Amir before we went on air and went live is that there's so much stuff out here that make it hard to continue to push on. I know that's the whole premise of why we get on Mondays and talk this talk. We don't do it because we ain't got nothing better to do. We don't do it. You see the man doing 100 things already. He out and about. So as I get done, I go out and about. But we do it because we know how hard it is right now. It started with the pandemic because that was the hardest thing we've all in our lifetime seen and faced and had to figure out in real time. So depression was at an all-time high. Stress levels were through the roof. Bodies were dropping like flies. And it just talking to people in our immediate circle that we see on a continued basis, just listening to them. I could listen and hear, damn, this dude depressed. You know, damn, going through it, or damn, blah, blah, blah. You know, I remember having a buddy hit me up. Hey, man, you know it's real bad if I hit you because I know, but I need a loan. It wasn't that much, you know what I mean? I need a loan, you know, it's real important. I wouldn't hit you. And I got the shit a day late. So when I hit a day late back, I said, yo, bro, I'm sorry. I said, you hit me. You know, my phone's compromised. So sometimes you don't get my shit. I don't get it. I was like, I just got this. And I only got a second text about something else. And they both came through. And I was like, so I'm sorry I got a day late. I said, but on some real shit, timing ain't good anyway. You know what I mean? I said, you're hitting me. I'm an American citizen, motherfucker. The first week of any month, you know all the bills are coming out. You know, the daughters in college with tuition and that. So everything's doing what it's doing. I'm like, I wouldn't have done it anyway, but I don't want you to think I was ignoring you. I apologize that I didn't get it. So I cleared that up. But we started doing this because people need people, and it's so much in the way. Right now, We are dealing with so much. Just woke up this morning. I'm sure you've seen this, Amir. Mass shooting, another one, out in Kentucky. Confirmed 4 killed, 9 injured, and this one's a bank shooting
Oh
uh,
wow.
with a current employee who was about to be got. The person found out that about to be laid off. I think Friday, the weekend or whatever, and that's all they needed to spaz out. But this is the thin ice that a lot of us are
But
on. Now I got 2 points of this. My first point is thin ice, right? And then my second point is where I may see the possibility of this stuff going. Hopefully not, but I want people to think because we don't usually think ahead. We think in real time for the most part, and we remember the past. But how many people are out there on thin ice that Amir, we came up in a time people got fired every day. People got let off every week. Uh, 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 offered packages, settlements to get out of here. We going to Rex, whatever the case may be. And people took that in, processed that shit, dealt with it for however long they process. Some people might process the whole week. They take a month because they've been working that hard way. Some people take a year off. But whatever their time was to process it and put a plan together and get back in the game and say, okay, well, that didn't work. Or, people get their resumes sharpened up and put this out there or call headhunters, whatever your line of work is and how it works. My point being is we wasn't feeling like we was on this thin of an ice. That when you told me I was let go, that was my thing. He wrote a letter to the parents and a friend, I guess, just already saying, well, I'm
this is
going to
it.
do this, and that's that.
You know what's so crazy? So couple of things. First off, my weekend was a little more quiet. I really took the time to clean up. We are obviously making the transition into, springtime, technically speaking. Weather's, transitioning into a better space and place, a little warmer. You can put away the jackets, the hats, scarves, and things like that to some degree. But I was literally, I spent the weekend Saturday. I shredded 3 garbage bags full of, documents and things that I've been, accumulating over the last, to your point, 3 years with, pandemic, so forth and so on. So I bring that to the conversation to say this. One of the things that uh, I've been very aware of is our transitioning back into what is, our new reality or whatever the case may be. I don't know if they did a good enough job putting things in place for that because to your point, so many people were found out things about themselves and about their immediate lifestyle and things that were going on in their homes and things that were going on with their children and their significant others that they weren't prepared to deal with. And a lot of people may or may not actually have therapists or, be going to therapy and things like that where you can talk it out. You may not even have friends, as, T just mentioned. I think back to, like you said, our time during the pandemic. We were doing a lot of different things that we thought would at least help alleviate and or take people's minds off of what was immediately happening when we were White Wednesdays. You're playing music after dark, which was a big thing because it allowed people to escape into music that they may or may not have heard in a long time. So to your point, what is going on is we're in a space now, and if you add to that what is going on with the way the world is set up now, so that social media has most people, or not most people, but it has a good portion of the society looking at what's going on in other people's lives and thinking that whatever they're doing and going through is better than what's going on in your life. So you look and you see, talent might have, gone and done a few things this weekend. So you're like, oh my God, talent's got a great life and this, and that, and the third. Not necessarily knowing that your life is set up in a way that, one, you've set it up, and two, is conducive to your lifestyle. You can't compare or should not compare your life to somebody else's lifestyle. You should compare your life and pay attention to what's going on in your world and make those adjustments so that you can get the results that you're looking for. Too many of y'all are trying to utilize things that are not in your realm. I hear so many people, whether we're looking at our entertainers and stuff like that, and you're like, oh my God, Jay-Z and Beyonce did this, or, whoever or whatever. That ain't your life. You work at a bank, like you said, you got a regular 9 to 5. They in a different playing field. And that's not a knock to you. What I'm saying to you is you have to be a little more fixated in what your reality is and the parameters of that and what the rules of that are and work within those parameters. I'm
Right.
not saying don't dream big. I'm not saying don't think big. I'm not even saying don't allow yourself to have ideas of grandeur and how you really want to, move your life and make your life. But you also have to be a realist in what your life is as it currently stands. And then you have to take stock of, look at, and then make the adjustments necessary to change things to what you want it to be. It all starts with your mind frame and your mindset. Like we said, Monday for a lot of people is a day that people seem to be depressed and or upset. You got to go into Monday smiling. You got to go into any day and every day smiling and thinking to yourself, today is my day. Stuff could turn around. This could be the moment or the time where things get to be wonderful for me. Because if you're not doing that, all you're
Mhm.
doing is perpetuating a terrible dream that you're going to keep living over and over again. We look at the movie Groundhog's Day and we kind of laugh about it because, it only comes on around Christmas. But to be honest with you, some of y'all are living your lives in that same vein because you get up in the morning, it's going to be a so-so day. I'm gonna have to go in here and deal with these, such and such people. So you've
Mhm.
already programmed your mind and your day to be exactly what you said, not what somebody else did to you. This didn't happen because you got to work and somebody went, did some odd at your job. This happened because you woke up and you didn't go, Dad, open my eyes this morning. I'm thankful for that. Oh my God, I got my beautiful kids to be thankful for. I got friends and family, or whatever it is deem you need to be thankful for. That's how you should start your day every single solitary day. You should not have a day where you take off and you be like, you know what, today I forgot to be thankful. How?
Nah,
How? You
hey,
opened
let me
your
tell you
eyes.
something. That's one you can't forget. You could forget a lot of stuff. That part ain't an option. You know what I mean? Like that part should never be an option when you're dealing with being thankful to the Most High and all that shit right there. We're gonna put a pin in the mass shootings and circle back because I got some details I want to put out there with that as well. Because we got one of our guests in. I know she's driving. Bring in my girl Monique Latisse, one of the funny females, fastest rising female comedians in the game right now. Hey Mo,
Hey Mo.
Hey, what's going on? Hey,
I'm chilling.
I
We're gonna
love what
call
you
this
said.
segment.
I mean,
I appreciate you popping in. I know you are on your way to do another live podcast. But real quick, one of the topics I'm going to be talking about today is some things I viewed, and I viewed the Monique special on Netflix. I had a chance to sit down and watch that beginning to end, and wanted to get your take on it. What do you think about it? Did you see it first of all, and how you feel about it?
yes, I saw it several times. I kept watching it over and over again, and I don't even know why. I was just watching it like almost like I was looking, like making sure I didn't miss anything. I felt like it was a book. I felt like it was a great book, like almost an audio book, and you know, funny comedy special. I wouldn't really rank it as so. I felt it was like a relief. I felt like she got a chance to release things that she'd been wanting to say for years. She wanted to explain herself. I felt like, she felt misunderstood for so many years, and this is her opportunity to explain why some of the things that have been taking place with her while they've been happening. Um, Personally, it was deep for me. Like, I mean, I feel bad saying that because I know as comedians we go deep sometimes. Um, but if I go out to a comedy show, I don't know if I want to go that deep. It was a great book to me. Like I would have loved to have read it or just heard an audio book on it. So that's really my take on it.
Okay, okay. So did you? Because she would be, one of the comedy OGs or mentors, woman to woman. Did you learn anything from it? Like, obviously, you just told me you didn't laugh a lot. Would you learn a lot or take something from it other than that? For yourself?
Um, okay, so one thing I did pick up, and I guess we can say I learned, is that you know, therapy is very important because I felt like there was a lot of things that really a therapist can help maneuver us through so that we don't feel like we owe anyone anything. Comedy is our therapy. Stage is our therapy, yes. But, it made me reflect on my own life, because
Right.
I go through some traumatic things, and I don't want it to be so dark. Like, I want to to me, it was a great opportunity, Netflix special. I was ready to like bust it open with straight laughter. That's what I was looking for.
You went to you went to see you went to see you thought you were going to see X-Men movie and you watched
But she's
Sling
such a
Blade.
great. I'm sorry. I would love to see her back on a talk show. Like, I would love, like, she's great at what she do. She's dope. She looked great. Um, she articulated herself well. A lot of people talked about the cursing. Yeah, but if you look back, so what this special did for me is made me look back at all of the shows. Like, I was like, for 3 days straight, I was binging off of all of Monique's shows. Like, I was YouTubing and Googling everything she's ever done. I just going back so I can understand, the woman that she was when she walked up out on that stage. So that's what it really did for me. Made me really look deeper into, you know, people say she was cursing a lot. She's always done it. She's
Not
always
like
done it.
that. Not like that.
You think it was at an
Okay,
all-time high?
let me give you the numbers real quick.
All
And
right.
this is because I heard the same thing you heard before I watched it. I don't know why my dumb ass. I think it was the edible the night before, whatever. But the dumb part of me said, "Hey, I'm gonna count these." Right?
I can see you doing that.
I know that's fucking stupid though. So, but it came in handy because I got a show, so I got some stats and numbers to put up.
Right.
But anyway,
Right.
real talk. 11 minutes in, and this is motherfucker. The word motherfucker and fuck, right? 11 minutes in, 50 times, right? The next 11, 12 minutes, 50 more times. The next 11, 12 minutes, no, 13 minutes, 50 more times. And it's so on. So on an average of 11, 12 minutes, at 200, I stopped, right? I stopped it, and the only reason I stopped, it was about maybe 16, 17 minutes left in the special, but I had to listen as opposed like from afar because I had to start getting dressed for a show. So I kept it playing, but I
Right.
couldn't sit there and do my fingers and count and shit. But I stopped at 200 with an average of 50 of the motherfuckers every 11 minutes. That's excessive. I don't give a fuck if she's the Dalai Lama, fucking Gandhi. I don't go. That is too much for anybody. This reminds me of I was somewhere one night. I can't tell you where it was, but I remember having an epiphany one night. I'm at a show and a fellow comedian's on, and the word pussy, right? I used to use the word pussy a lot, and talk sex jokes and stuff. And I was in the place and I got to hear somebody overuse it and it's coming through them speakers and the shit started making me cringe. So now
Mm,
I walk on eggshells when I do get around where I need to use the word pussy, but I by no
right.
way, no means do I use it freely like I used to because hearing it through the speaker myself, it should make me
Right.
cringe. And this is
Right.
about 15, 16 years ago. And I was like, oh, I was like, why am I
Right.
cringing? I said it. I said, but it feels like that shit made me use it all different and think all different before I use it. But I thought
That was
that
the
was
point.
excessive. I thought that
That
was,
was
I thought it was super excessive with that. And you got a good point. When people come to a comedy special and you don't deliver the laugh, make them laugh, I thought that was an injustice to the special. But the biggest thing, um, what you know and I know, when we're on stage and we're making people laugh, it's therapeutic both ways.
yes. Yes.
It helps me for whatever the hell I may be going through and feeling better.
Right.
And it damn sure helps the group I'm in front of, whether that be a comedy club, a theater, or whatever the case may be. So we both did a service to each other. You let me get that off, which was
Right.
therapy to me, and you laughed at it, which was therapy to you. And we had a fair exchange. And I thank you for your opinion. Very, very much needed that.
Yes, you're welcome. And that was a great point. That just before I leave, that's a great point that you said. You heard the word pussy and you cringed, and I think that's what we have to listen to each other more. I think a lot of comedians don't listen to each other when we're on stage. We just wait to go on stage. We just wait, until it's our time to shine. That you don't really hear And because a lot of things that we say, it sounds cringy, and you don't get a chance to hear it because you're not watching the show.
That's a
So I
fact.
think it's very important for comedian. That's what I love about you. You know, you're not one of those headliners that's wait outside or come to the show at the last minute until it's time for you to go on stage. You're actually watching the whole show from beginning to end.
Yep.
And a lot of comedians, especially headliners, don't do that. They come in just in time for them to get on stage, talk their shit, and that's why a lot of shit is repeated because we're not paying attention. So thank you
Right.
for bringing that point up. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, baby. You got an excellent point. That's one of my biggest pieces of advice. That's top 5 that come from me whenever people ask. I say, yo, you have to listen as much as you talk. You know, you'll learn just as much. Just talking is just talking. But when you listen as much as you talk, it makes you a better comedian because you know what the people are going for, what they're not going for, what's connecting, what's not connecting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my good friend Monique Latisse. Thank you for stopping through, baby girl. I appreciate you. Good luck tonight. Kill him, boo.
All right, thank
Do
you.
you think, please?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Monique, man. But that's a thing. They've been going at my girl. Now, normally, let me give people the background. Me and Monique were the best of friends and started this thing out super tight. She'll tell you, I'll tell you, from everything we did from the Uptown to HBO Snaps to Def Jam. We toured together for a couple of years on Def Jam. We just was tight. And so she would keep it real on me. I keep it real. Everybody got their perspective. What I think of this special is it was really disappointing for more ways than one. I think I was disappointed for the one thing was, which I didn't agree from in the beginning when she went, and had the lawsuit and went after Netflix and called them this, that, and the third and sued them and everything. To me, I think that was a little excessive and a business infringement, if you will. That's like somebody suing me right now, Amir, because I never booked them. You know what I mean? Or I booked them at a certain number and they go, oh, you gave Drew Frazier this or blah, blah, blah. And I go, yeah, but you ain't Drew Frazier. And then we have an argument and then they get stupid. That's really like how that happened, right? Which I think I didn't really stand on the side of with that because I feel like this is these people business. They should get to choose who and what they want to be in business with. And that shouldn't be taken personal out of perspective. So that's one thing. But fast forward, part of the settlement is you won. You won the settlement because they settled. They want to settle, right? So you win. Part of it, now you're on Netflix with a special. So you tell me you sued these people for the rope to hang yourself? You're supposed to sue these people for the opportunity. This should have been the I told you so, boom special that made now the world's on your back, on your side. Like, yeah, see, she told y'all she was that motherfucker and y'all disrespect. This wasn't that. So we'll circle back to that because I don't want to sound bashy on her. I wanted to get this point out. Again, thank you to our good friend Monique Latisse popping in. Yes. So now on this mass shooting thing, to give you some of the details, because I know you didn't get the full story. This is a 23-year-old bank employee. 23. Think about when I say walking on ice, people are mentally walking on ice. Think about this. You're 23. So many jobs and career opportunities you're gonna have in the next 20 years. But you're 23 and they're in a morning meeting at 8:30, right? So a half hour before they open the doors to the public, they're having this meeting. And one of the persons that worked there, what was her title? She's a manager at the Old National Bank downtown Louisville. She's one of the managers named Rebecca Sims. And she said from her desk, looking through her computer, she can see everything happen out because apparently this was live streaming. I don't know if because the meeting was on like a or whatever, but all this is live streaming. So she could see it looking through her computer. And she says like shortly after the meeting had started, the gunmen just started murdering and shooting and blazing and everything. And like I said, 9 people got injured. 3 are in critical condition, but 4 are confirmed dead right now. This is the stuff that makes it so hard and gets in people's head. Now, I'm gonna tell you Because something like this, I would have to believe this person had a little something extra going on.
Yes.
Not just, hey, you fired. A word,
Normal.
which brings me to, because we're always telling people to stay motivated, mental illness. Something else is going on. Now, I'm going to tell you like this, and I don't care who hear it and take it whatever way they want to take it. Mental illness to me is very similar. I look at it exactly and simonious to like autism. When they judge autism, there's a spectrum. So your kid can be way over here, everything in between. We have autistic kids that are fine physically, but not verbally. Then we got some that can't, are messed up physically, but they talk and everything else is good. Then we have some that learn a little different, need a little more, help. Some can be confined. It's all up and down this spectrum. So I think the same thing can be said about just mental illness in general. Because I really believe, after I looked at Monique's thing, I was like, you know what? In my heart of hearts, I think all this time she's been dealing with a little bit of, mental situations. I'm not saying she's crazy. I'm not saying she whatever word people want to sling around, but I'm saying that maybe a little something there, that this one thing is not just it. Because we are so many, I'm gonna get back to that. I always say we so much more than one thing. But this is strange to me. Let's bring another one of our guests. We got another comedian doing the Mirror and Talent right now, is the one and only from the Sean Harvey Morning Show. Sean Harvey's in the building. Bring my guy Sean in if you can. What up, player? You always come on the show like Mr. Bookman.
First of all, I'm enjoying the show, but I want to give a special shout out to Amir Sealy's purple bow tie. Let's clap for that.
There's no problem. So if you're enjoying the show, you heard what I'm saying. What we're talking about right now, we're kind of like pivoting from this mass shooting thing that just happened today until the whole Monique special. Monique Latisse was just a guest on the show, and I asked her to give her opinion. Did you see it, first of all?
I saw the first 10 minutes of it. First of all, I want to say this about it. I love the dress. I
get it.
I love the dress.
That's when you know your shit is fucked up.
I didn't like the shoes. I love the dress. She looked like a fly-ass auntie. I love the 10,000 laugh tracks. A lot of laugh tracks. They laugh tracked me to death for 10 minutes. I know you was talking about how many mother effers she was saying throughout, the course of which you was listening to. I heard so far in just 10 minutes, 14,000 laugh tracks.
Yeah, you're right. And clipaways with them,
And I think what really, a lot of our A-listers are really having subpar performances on Netflix. And I think what happened with Monique, two things. One, she comes out to a roaring standing ovation. That might have threw her off right then and there. That's not a good sign. Two, there is not a punchline in sight. It's still got to come down to the basics with stand-up. She's using the persons as the punchlines. Now, you made a good point, like using the P word. I used to do that a lot as well. I use the word vagina now, and it gives the same impact, even better on the punches than using the P word.
Yeah.
Back in the days, they had hair on the vagina. Takes the joke to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Now, that we talked about this the other night at Marquise Comedy Club, and congratulations to him about karma. You just said it. She went, Netflix can do what the hell they want to do and hire who they want to hire. She sued Netflix, even asked us to boycott Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her mind on this one, and then to have this performance after all she done against Netflix is almost horrific to me. I think some of these A-listers need to I know they touring. I understand they're touring comedians and they play a pivotal part in what we do. But some of these A-listers got to come back and just rock out with us.
Yeah.
Just come out on a Tuesday night. Come out on a Thursday night. I know that there's a life. I know that they have a different life, and I understand that. And why go out to a bar or a restaurant to work out, or a comedy club because they're making thousands and thousands of dollars? But you will still lose that money if you're not funny.
Yeah, I think you make a valid.
Everybody say we outside. Some comedians are not outside. Comedian talent is outside. Sean Harvey, we're outside. We're working. And because what's gonna happen is you're gonna get this check for $500,000, $1 million. They're not gonna give you. I'm just talking just in general terms. They're not gonna give you that money the next time around.
You're right. You're right.
Sean. You gotta love this. If you don't do stand up, don't do anything in life if you don't love it. See, when I saw Monique, and God bless her, man, like you said, the history with y'all going back 30 years ago, and it's comedians like you and Monique that open up the doors for comedians like myself. So all due respect. But when you're not putting in that work on any level of comedy, the final product shows all the time. You know, we always say this as comedians. The stage will always humble you. You can talk all the mess you want. And this is what I see in 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Here's a question. And then, Amir, I know you got something you want to say. I wouldn't even think, the way that I think, because of how much time has passed, I don't even think I would have made my special about addressing the old elephant. I think I would have just put together something fucking funny, an hour, and went up there and been the old funny ass hour giving special. And motherfuckers would have walked away laughing and wow and above it. You know, I'd have been above it instead of attacking it, because this is older than the slap. We waited a whole year for the slap. The slap reversal is that. Right. We waited a whole year for the slap. This shit is about 3-4 more years than that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I watched Earthquake special. On Netflix. He only did like a half an hour, 40 minutes.
It was 40 minutes, but it was perfect.
And perfect. Just went up there and just banged out those old-fashioned jokes. That's all it boils down to. It was the best special I've seen in the last couple of years. It was short. He got to the point.
Earthquake got the dopest shit, pound for pound, straight beginning to end, no hands, no ifs and buts about it. This is my problem why I don't watch a lot of specials, is because I can't get this hour back of my life, right? And I'm such a big fan of funny, bro. Like, his two problems. One, I'm a big fan of funny, so I'm going to find something and watch it, right? Problem is, if the shit ain't funny and I'm 10, 15 minutes in, the movie nigga in me won't let me cut it off. Right. Now I'm going to sit through the next 45 with a fucking attitude, and I didn't laugh because that's just how the fucking wired, right? And I can't get that hour back. Amir, what do you want to say, my brother? I'm sorry.
You know what? You first of all, I think all the points that are being made are absolutely on point. I think the biggest drawback that I took from it was, and I think you nailed it. This is old news for so many of us. And quiet as it's kept, I feel as though, Monique, we put to bed, your beef with Tyler Perry and this one and that one. At least I did, because I was like, you said your piece, you stood on your, on your grounds, and I respected her for it. I was like, you standing on your grounds, so you get all the respect in the world. But to your point, this was your opportunity to come back. And when I say she was supposed to rip that theater in half, she was supposed to leave that theater, throw the mic in the audience. I mean, something so crazy that you had to just be like, okay, we understand, one, why you one of the queens of comedy. We understand, to your point, why you're one of the OGs, and to all of the newer comedians, be they male or female. This is why we respect your gangster and who you are and what you, represent. And I think Sean nailed it, specifically and this goes for everybody in anything that you're in. stop getting so far away from your core, which is the people and things that got you there. To your point, I saw a really cool interview with Touré, or he did a thing on Friday that just passed, and he was talking about salsa, and he was saying how salsa is, one of the new great rooms to actually play. He said, if you can't control the audience in salsa, he said, they will absolutely eat you alive. He said, I don't care who you are. He said, because I've seen some names get up there and get destroyed. And that's what has to happen. You got to get back out here and be amongst the people and understand that, you know what, let me get to know my audience again. Let them get to know me. Let me get to know them. I thought that Monique Latisse's, I think that was the best synopsis of the actual situation that I heard, which her saying this was almost like watching an audio book. Monique, you could have done that on your own time. And we're not mad at you, but she could have really done that on her own time. She could have made an audio book, like she said, or a written one, and given everybody the opportunity to read that on their own time. But when you hit that stage, we're expecting you to do what we have known and come to love you for, which is making us laugh, whatever format that is. And that did not get delivered with this particular special. And I'm like you, T. I watch everybody's specials because I'm on Netflix and everything else in between trying to watch people's things. Like, this wasn't funny. I'm a little disturbed behind this. Right. Oh my God, like why would you not come and give your absolute best? I know that, spaces and places, make for how you guys are able to, come up with your specials and, whether or not you're able to feel a crowd. But this is your genre. This is what you do. I'm expecting you to knock it out the park, or at least be somewhat great every time you touch that stage. And this did not deliver, like you said, in that regard. And I felt bad about that.
I did too. As a good friend, I don't want to see it fail. I'm not happy about it. I'm just, even though I'm talking real and you don't rejoice in it, you're just pointing out some things. To give you the numbers, Sean, because we stated the numbers early on before you got in the line.
Right.
So I'm sitting there, I'm watching it. I got the remote in my hand, so I'm pausing and I'm counting the motherfuckers and fucks, right?
Right.
At 11 minutes in, I pause it. I'm at 50.
Damn.
I called John Phillips back. I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. I said, I know you told me there's a lot of fucks and motherfuckers, but this is motherfucking crazy, right? Yeah. So I said, I'll call you back. So I go click back on. The next mark is 22 minutes in. So that's another 11. Another 11 minutes, I'm at 100. It's almost like this bitch is nice. This bitch is almost a professional cursor.
Right.
She's putting that bitch on 11 minutes. She's putting 50 on 11 every time.
That's crazy.
Next time I come in, it's 35 minutes. 35 minutes. So now we 13 minutes later, another 50. Then the last one I clicked another 50, we 46:40 in.
Dang.
Now it's still 15, 16 minutes left on the special, but I can't keep counting after 200. I gotta get dressed. So now I gotta move around the house and do shit. So I just cut it up so I can at least hear the end and I'm doing things, get shower ready, all this shit. But at that point, bro, I counted 200 motherfucking and fucks. Now, I done told this is one of the pieces of advice I done gave at least a dozen or 20 comedians about over cussing. I said, what happens with over cussing is you take the air out of the tire. Yeah. So when you get to the end, curses strategically used for the punchline.
Yes.
But if you say motherfucker 10 times before you get to number 11 with the punchline, motherfucker doesn't mean anything by the end.
Yeah.
It's almost desensitizing the ear for what that does to conversation. So those 200-300, whatever the fuck she ended up doing at the end, did a great disservice. And like I told Amir, and I tell everybody that asks me, what do I think? I said, I think she sued these motherfuckers for the rope to hang herself. Because if I'm an executive at Netflix, nigga, I'm in my office like, if I'm one of the guys that said don't do it, I'm like.
Right, of course. This is not, I mean, she's going to have to deal with that. But, look at the contrast. Check it out. She went after D.L. Hughley, right? That whole thing that Amir was talking about. But here's the difference from night and day. D.L. Hughley is out on stage every weekend working. You all the time. He's on, like, you can tell the difference between a true stand-up and what's going on here. And now I'm just generally speaking. If you get what you put it, whatever you put into it, just what you get out. Monique, I don't think she's on stage. I don't think she's even putting in that work.
She's not what we call putting in work. She gets out and sporadically. I've seen her at some venues and theaters doing some shows, but that's not what we call putting in work. You know, like I know, that's going out to work, but that's not putting in the work. It's two different things.
Two different things.
Right about that. But anyway, to her, we're going to circle back on her for the pin in it. On a good note, though, I didn't waste my time when I went to see Air, because people that haven't seen it, it's not an action movie. It's not like that at all. It's the movie called Air with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Viola Davis is in it. There's so many in there. I'm trying to remember everybody. But the point is, I tell people all the time, you are an individual that's very interesting. I don't even know you, and I know you are. Every one of us have a story of ourselves that can be a television series or a movie or whatever. You got so much that happened in your lifetime, and you got so much that continues to happen. You're more than one thing. You're one person, but a whole bunch of things happen. So Air is a story that to me, I thought is genius. You know, it made me think when I was walking my dog today, my oldest dog, the Killer. I said, damn, Killer. I said, you could have a story. You got a little dog movie story about, because Killer had a lot of shit happen in his life.
Right.
You know, everyone's a chapter. You know, the motherfucker got tranquilized by the ASPCA, you know, bit a couple of motherfuckers, you know, started some fights, you know, had 7 kids with his ex-girl. Baby mother that passed away. That's what I told my dog. Anyway, Air is the story of, it's just the story of how Nike got Michael Jordan to sign.
Right.
And when you watch this shit, just the information, your mouth is open and you're like, wow. Because what a lot of people don't understand is we just look at it like, oh, so-and-so got to sneak out, whatever. It was a whole lot that went into this shit. Motherfuckers' jobs was on the line and livelihoods. And Mike had no intention of fucking with Nike. He didn't like him.
Wow.
Y'all realize Nike was famous for the running shoe at the time.
Right.
Reebok was number 2. Fucking Converse had it on lock. Now look at the irony of this shit. Nike now owns Converse.
Wow.
But when you look at the numbers that a guy like Magic Johnson passed up, because when the original guy approached Magic in the 80s, Magic, you know, everything was money. So they were like, well, how much you got to sign? Whoever got the money, he just was going to go to the highest bidder. And nobody could outbid Converse, which was like 800,000 or some shit. And he was like, yeah, we signed with Converse. And his agent was like, best thing you ever did. Nike only had the shoe. The man should, if you watch the Magic Johnson shit, the man showed up to the thing with the shoe. Like, hey, man, we would love to have you on board. Yeah. Magic Johnson said, oh, how much? He said, see, that's the thing. We ain't got no money, but you get in on the ground floor, you own part of the company. You're like, man, fuck you, and sign with Converse.
Yes.
Now, Jordan, on the other hand, was going to sign with, I want to say, you know, Adidas, which is a German company. A lot of people don't know that. So he was going to sign with Adidas. He didn't want to go to Converse because Converse already had Bird, Dr. J, and Magic Johnson. So, you know, he's trying to make his own way, the new era motherfucker. And what they had to go through to switch up this dude, just to get a meeting to just start kicking that shit a little bit, like, yo, this is why you want to be with us, bro. It was amazing. And I've always wanted that. And this shit would go on to be the focal point to make Michael Jordan the billionaire he is today. So I tell everybody that even if you might have seen something that fucked you up like Monique special, go see Air. Level your feelings out.
You know what? That was a great scene in the movie, in that HBO special. What was the name? The Lakers special. What was the name of it again?
Oh, Winning Time.
Oh, Winning Time.
Winning Time.
Winning Time.
And that scene when the dude came in there with the Nike and was proposing to Magic Johnson, he really was like, we really have nothing. And then, but the next scene, it shows like he signed with Jordan, and then the rest was history. It's amazing.
That's an amazing story, bro.
That sometimes out in front of your face.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Next thing up, Worry about the future. That's why another reason you got to stay motivated, people. It's not just about today. Tomorrow will come, inshallah, if it's God's will. Give it up for Sean Harvey. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you coming through the Sean Harvey Morning Show every weekday morning. Follow the homie, man. Go friend him. Go follow him. Make him part of your family, just like that. Thank you. Appreciate Sean Harvey.
I appreciate you and love you guys to death. Y'all be safe and enjoy the rest of your evening, fellas.
Love is love, brother. You already
love
know.
Is love, Sean.
Yeah, so that's Sean Harvey. Thanks to Sean. Thanks to Monique jumping in and chiming in on it. But see, that's the thing. That's what I got from this movie. I got the whole. When you go back and hear a story like that, Amir, and then you look where we are, what came to fruition, you can't tell me that's not an amazing story.
It's so funny that it's great that you said that, because to your point about motivation, and this is, a part of motivation. Please, people, stop passing over opportunities that belie you. There is a acronym, POOR, POOR, passing over opportunities repeatedly or regularly, however you want, whichever you want to use the R for. But I say that to so many of you because at the end of the day, you have people in your circle, you have people in your life. They come to you, they say, hey, look, just take a look at this, check it out, kick the tires, just hear the information. And what do y'all do? No, I don't think so. It's not for me. And to T's point, because you heard him say, Jordan, in his heart of all hearts, this wasn't even on his radar. This wasn't something that he wanted to work with. This wasn't something he wanted to do, but he took a chance. And like Talon has just pointed out, the man is now a billionaire. You guys have got to start motivating yourself to do your due diligence. Look into opportunities because they are all around you at an alarming rate. He just spoke about a 23-year-old. We're not all over the place, but this is just to show you a 23-year-old who was on thin ice, was disgruntled and or upset about losing their job, but apparently had some other things that they were, upset about. Now, I only bring that to the conversation because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. When I was 23, there was nothing in the world that I was that upset about. I was partying, I was in these streets, I was enjoying my life, to be honest with you. So there was no reason for me to ever be upset. And I think I got fired from a job somewhere around there, or I had just started working, in the corporation that I'm working in now. But again, I bring that all to the table because I need for you guys to start understanding that when you're finding yourself in spaces and in places where opportunities are presenting themselves, do yourself a favor and check out the opportunity. Do not be the kind of person who, oh, well, no, this isn't for me. I don't think that, I could do anything with this. And stop comparing what your success in something could be compared to somebody else's. I say that again because now that we're talking sports in this particular case, and this, I want y'all to think about this. Allen Iverson's deal with Reebok, if I'm not mistaken, pays this man well into, I forget what year, 2035 or some craziness like that. 2035. So the man is getting residual checks from Reebok for a sneaker deal that he signed back in the early 2000s or late 1990s. Look, y'all. Start understanding that when you really take a good hard look at the things that are in your face and or around you, there is the opportunity for you to do some amazing things. But you're going to have to put in the time, you're going to have to put in the effort, and most certainly you're going to have to put in the work. We just documented what happens when you don't put in the work. You don't get the results that you're looking for. That's in anything that you do. I'm so sick and tired of people, oh, it didn't work. You didn't work. It's not that it didn't work. You didn't work. And if you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't eat, then you starve. And thankfully or unfortunately, that's where so many of us are. I'm watching everybody. I'm going to school. How's school working out for you? So you got a whole degree, a master's, a bachelor's, or whatever, to be folding sweaters in the Gap. Does that make sense? Get out here, find something that you love to do it with the passion and all of your everything that you can put behind it, and watch it turn into something phenomenal for you. But you got to do the work. You got to find what you're passionate about. Stop sitting around, something's going to happen. No, it's not. Not if you don't do any work. Not if you don't do any work. Got to do the work. Motivating is to be motivated means to find what motivates you, what makes you happy, what makes you really want to get up and do stuff every day and go out and do it. I don't care what it is. Selling cupcakes, making green juices, whatever is your passion, go out and do it. But don't be sitting around talking about, well, you know, the world is against me and everything hates me. No, you're the only person who hates you because that's your belief system. And if you don't change it, you will be in the same place over and over again. I told you, it's like Groundhog's Day. You'll just keep waking up to the same unfortunate dream. Change your dream, change your mind frame, change your mindset. Read books, listen to music, whatever it takes for you to start to change. Heck, listen to some people who are motivating by what they share with you. There's a ton of things on these social media platforms of people who have amazing stories to tell and amazing things to motivate you. But you got to tune in. Let's not only look at dumb TikTok dances. Let's not only look at, comedic stuff. And believe you me, Talon will tell you, I send him stupid, funny stuff that I see all the time. But I also send y'all motivating stuff. Why? Because I believe you got to be, like you said, we got to have some balance. You can't just fall into one category or the other. You got to allow yourself, you know what? I need a little bit of both. Why? Because this world is going to eat you up and chew you up and spit you out if you don't give yourself the opportunity to get solid and to work on yourself. And do that. Work on yourself. Everybody. I don't care who you are. I got this. No, you don't. You got work to do.
No, you don't. That's a fact, though. Sean Harvey said it. And for the people that when I chimed in with Sean, that may not totally grasp what we were talking about, because we're talking kind of in comedy world language when we're talking about putting in work. In our line of work, when you see me where you're supposed to see me, I'm doing a job. 9 times out of 10, I'm contracted to a job. But for those nights where you see me or not expecting to see me, and then they go, "Oh, give it up for Talon," and I just go on the stage and do whatever. That's called working out. That's what we do to keep our blade sharp. Now, if you just sit home, now here's the catch-22, makes it funny. I'm laughing at it. I happen to work a lot, so it works out the equivalent for me because I'm on stage damn every night. But for that guy or girl that doesn't get a call to be on stage every night, maybe they work Saturday this week, another show in 2 weeks, whatever. That means you have a bunch of days in between you're not on stage. That means you're allowing rust, so to speak, to set in little by little because you're not doing any reps. You're not working out, like we said, putting that work in. And for the big, like he said, the big A-listers that we have, they sit back and, it becomes about money for some of them or whatever the reason may be, but they're not putting in that work. That's the thing about LA. One thing I can say about LA is, and New York City, those comedy clubs are downtown and on the strip in LA, the A-listers stop by those rooms to put work in. They still stop by to work it out and whatever because they don't want to be rusty because they know I got 10 days before my next road gig. I got 8 days, whatever the case may be. They stop and put the work in. Everybody's not privy to that. Everybody don't have that luxury, but it was clear and apparent watching this that no real true work was put in. And what I mean by that is true work is you got to learn to always separate the fanfare from the real attributes. When I say that, you can go to a place again. If you go to a place and you got all your people there, you don't know how funny you are. You have to be around strangers and do that same thing in front of a bunch of strangers who don't not really automatically rooting for you in your corner, whatever the case may be, so they know what's rough, rugged, and raw and real, and give you a real assessment of what went down with whatever you were trying to work out. So it's been fantastic. Do your own due diligence, catch up on the story with the mass shootings in Louisville, Kentucky. 23-year-old working in a bank, the Old National Bank downtown, said enough is enough. I heard him getting fired, and boom, now we have 4 dead, 9 injured, 3 in critical condition. Our prayers and energies and positive energy goes to Monique. Even though we may have gave it a bad rating and did not like it, don't mean we don't like her. Don't mean we have anything against her. We're just called this what we do here. We talk it up, get POVs, and we tell it like it is. Definitely advise anybody that wants to learn the story that has any find it intriguing, the Michael Jordan story and how he became a billionaire and the whole Nike thing and everything is just amazing story. So it's called Air, AIR, like flying in the air. But more importantly, Viola Davis is in it. So what is she in that's not good? Are you fucking kidding me? He goes, fuck Ben Affleck, fuck Matt Damon. But I like Matt Damon. Actually, I like Ben Affleck. He got me since Batman. I can't fuck it. But Viola's that motherfucker. You understand me? So anything she touched, that's the true woman king. You support the woman king, all right? And remember, root on my Knicks. If you're a New Yorker, let's go, man. Sports is ours again. We rocking in all the fucking lanes of sports. New York Knicks are in the playoffs officially. We are the 5 seed. We play the Cleveland Cavaliers starting Saturday. Get your game up. Even if you're a New Yorker and you like the Nets, y'all start Saturday too against 76ers. So the Nets are at 1 o'clock. My Knicks are at 6 o'clock. It's going down. You already know what it is. And if you don't remember anything, remember this. I keep telling you, stay motivated. You're not one thing. You're more than one thing. And always remember this. The worst thing you've ever done, it's not who you are. It's the worst thing you ever done. So I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about that. Do better, be better, grow, get wise. Amir Silly, the boy Talon Harris, I hope we helped. We're on the end this time people start. I don't know who need to hear this, but y'all be safe, man. Love y'all to death. Prophet Pete, thank you, brother.
It's Monday, cocksuckers, and you better come prepared because they don't fuck around on Monday. Monday, most people come in, I had such a great weekend. Oh my God, go fuck yourself. That was then, this is now, bitch. It's a whole new set of rules. It's Monday. If you ain't waking up with a taste of blood in your fucking mouth like a shark 5 feet from the shore, you fucked up, you understand? Because Monday is when you go, everybody else is like, still the weekend.